Hello everyone. Welcome to the Science Grid channel. Let the learning begins.
What is life? The condition that distinguishes organisms from inorganic objects and dead organisms, being manifested by growth through metabolism, reproduction, and the power of adaptation to environment through changes originating internally. Other definition by NASA. A self-sustaining chemical system capable of Darwinian evolution. There are criteria of life. Growth. Metabolize. Respond to stimuli. Adapt. Reproduce.
What are the life processes? The processes that are necessary for an organism to stay alive, such as nutrition, respiration, movement, sensitivity, excretion, growth, etc.
What is nutrition? Nutrition is defined as the intake of food, considered in relation to the body's dietary needs. In other words, the process in which an organism takes in food, utilizes it to get energy, for growth, repair and maintenance, etc., and excretes the waste materials from the body. Any living organism needs energy to carry out their routine work. They gets their nutrition from food. Just like shown in this picture, fish utilize their needs by engulfing the food. Waste is removed as feces. Sun is main source of energy. Plants containing chlorophylls makes their food via photosynthesis using sunlight. They are called phototrophs. They are an organism that uses energy from sunlight to synthesize organic compounds for nutrition. Organisms unable to prepare their own food, gets nutrition from the phototrophs. All the living organisms, that is plants and animals, require food. These organisms need to take food by different modes of nutrition in order to obtain energy as well as the materials for growth and repair of damaged parts of the body. Nutrition is the process of taking food by an organism as well as the utilization of this food by the organisms. Let's know more about these modes of nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Those organisms that can make food themselves from simple substances like carbon dioxide and water are called autotrophs. Their mode of nutrition is referred to as autotrophic. They do this by the process of photosynthesis. Heterotrophs are referred to those organisms which cannot prepare their own food. They are dependent on green plants or animals for their food. Their mode of nutrition is known as the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. All the non-green plants and animals, inclusive of human beings, are called heterotrophs. Autotrophic nutrition. Auto equals self. Trophos equals nourishment. Green plants are autotrophic and synthesize or make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. They do this with the help of carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight. Photosynthesis is the process by which the green plants make their own food, like glucose, from carbon dioxide and water by using sunlight energy in the presence of chlorophyll. For example, plants, algae, blue-green bacteria. What is photosynthesis? Photo means light and synthesis to combine. Photosynthesis is a process used by plants and other organisms to convert light energy into chemical energy that can later be released to fuel the organism's activities. For this process, plant needs raw materials such as carbon dioxide and water. Roll-off chlorophyll is to trap the sun's energy for photosynthesis. The photosynthesis equation is as follows: CO2 plus H20 plus energy, C6H12O6 plus O2 carbon dioxide plus water plus energy from light produces glucose and oxygen. There are few events/steps of photosynthesis. They are: absorption of light energy by chlorophyll, conversion of light energy to chemical energy and splitting of water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. For the photosynthesis process we need raw materials such as carbon dioxide. Land plants air. Aquatic plants water. Water and minerals, soil. Gaseous exchange. Gas used carbon dioxide. Byproduct, oxygen. Certain factor affect as the autotrophic nutrition. Carbon dioxide, water, light, and temperature. Heterotrophic nutrition. Hetero means others and trophos means nourishment. Heterotrophic nutrition is the mode of nutrition in which organisms depend upon other organisms for food to survive. All animals and non-green plants are heterotrophic. The mode of nutrition in which an organism obtains nutrients from dead and decaying organic matter is called saprophytic nutrition. Example, rhizopus, bread mold, mucor, pin mold, yeast, agaricus, mushroom. Parasitic nutrition. Parasitic nutrition or parasitism is a mode of heterotrophic nutrition where an organism, known as a parasite, lives on the body surface or inside the body of another living organism, known as a host. The parasite obtains nutrition directly from the body of the host. The parasite benefits while the host is usually harmed, for example cuscuta plant parasite, amarbel, plasmodium, malarial parasite. They can be endoparasite or exoparasite. Endoparasite. Parasite lives inside the body of the host, for example tapeworm, roundworm. Exoparasite. Parasite lives on the body of the host. For example lice, leech. Holozoic nutrition. Organism, mostly animals, take in whole food and then digest it into smaller particles with enzyme. E.G. Amoeba, Paramecium. Animals, human beings. Steps in Holozoic nutrition. Ingestion, taking in of food. Digestion, breaking down of complex food into simpler, absorbable form. Assimilation, utilization of digested food from the body. Egestion, removing undigested food from the body. How organism gets their nutrition. On the basis of food habits, animals can be divided into three groups. They are herbivores, carnivores, omnivores. An autotroph or primary producer is an organism that produces complex organic compounds, such as carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, from simple substances present in its surroundings, generally using energy from light, photosynthesis, or inorganic chemical reactions, chemosynthesis. All the animals cannot make their own food from simple inorganic material like carbon dioxide and water. They depend on other organisms for food. This is called heterotrophic mode of nutrition. The organisms which depend on other organisms for food are called heterotrophs. For example, man, dog, cat, deer, tiger, cow. Non-green plants like yeast are all heterotrophs. They depend on plants or other organisms for their food. Herbivores. Herbivores are those animals which eat only plants like grass, leaves, fruits, bark, etc. The examples of herbivorous animals are cow, goat, sheep, horse, camel, deer, etc. Carnivores. Those animals which eat only other animals are called carnivores. They do not eat plants. Lion, tiger, frog, vulture, wolf, lizard, etc. are examples of carnivorous animals. Carnivores are meat eaters. Omnivores. Those animals which eat both plants and flesh of other animals are called omnivores. Dog, crow, sparrow, bear, ant, etc. are examples of omnivorous animals. We humans are omnivorous. We eat green vegetables and animal products such as meat and eggs. Nutrition in human beings. The various steps of nutrition in human beings are as follows: ingestion, digestion, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, absorption, assimilation, egestion. The nutrition in human beings, or man, takes place through human digestive system. The human digestive system consists of the alimentary canal and its associated glands. The various organs of the human digestive system in sequence are mouth, esophagus, or food pipe, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. The human beings have a special organ for the ingestion of food. It is called mouth. So, in human beings, food is ingested through the mouth. The food is put into the mouth with the help of hands. Mouth. Salivary glands secretes saliva which contains amylase that converts starch into sugar. In human beings, the digestion of food begins in the mouth itself. In fact, the digestion of food starts as soon as we put food in our mouth. This happens as follows: the mouth cavity, or buccal cavity, contains teeth, tongue, and salivary glands. The teeth cut the food into small pieces, chew and grind it. So, the teeth help in physical digestion. The salivary glands in our mouth produce saliva. Our tongue helps in mixing this saliva with food. Saliva is a watery liquid, so it wets the food in our mouth. The wetted food can be swallowed more easily. The esophagus, commonly known as the food pipe or gullet, is an organ in vertebrates through which food passes, aided by peristaltic contractions, from the pharynx to the stomach. The contraction and expansion movement of the walls of food pipe is called peristaltic movement. This peristaltic movement of food pipe, or esophagus, pushes the slightly digested food into the stomach. In fact, the peristaltic movement moves the food in all the digestive organs throughout the alimentary canal. Stomach. The stomach is a J-shaped organ present on the left side of the abdomen. The food is further digested in the stomach. The food is churned in the stomach for about 3 hours. During this time, the food breaks down into still smaller pieces and forms a semi-solid paste. The stomach wall contains 3 tubular glands in its walls. The glands present in the walls of the stomach secrete gastric juice. The gastric juice contains 3 substances: hydrochloric acid, the enzyme pepsin, and mucus. Gastric juice contains hydrochloric acid, which kills harmful bacteria that enters with the food. Moreover, it makes the medium alkaline for the action of pepsin. The protein digestion begins in the stomach. Please note that the protein digesting enzyme pepsin is active only in the presence of an acid. So, the function of hydrochloric acid in the stomach is to make the medium of gastric juice acidic so that the enzyme pepsin can digest the proteins properly. If mucus is not secreted, hydrochloric acid will cause the erosion of inner lining of stomach, leading to the formation of ulcers in the stomach. The partially digested food then goes from the stomach into the small intestine. The exit of food from stomach is regulated by a sphincter muscle which releases it in small amounts into the small intestine. Small intestine. The small intestine is arranged in the form of a coil in our belly. Please note that the length of the small intestine differs in various animals depending on the type of food they eat. For example, cellulose is a carbohydrate food which is digested with difficulty. So, the herbivorous animals like cow which eat grass need a longer small intestine to allow the cellulose present in grass to be digested completely. On the other hand, meat is a food which is easier to digest. So, the carnivorous animals like tigers which eat meat have a shorter small intestine. Small intestine. The small intestine receives the secretions of 2 glands, liver and pancreas. Liver secretes bile. Bile is a greenish-yellow liquid made in the liver which is normally stored in the gallbladder. Bile is alkaline, and contains salts which help to emulsify or break the fats, or lipids, present in the food. Thus, bile performs 2 functions. Makes the acidic food coming from the stomach alkaline so that pancreatic enzymes can act on it, and 2. Bile salts break the fats present in the food into small globules, making it easy for the enzymes to act and digest them. Pancreas is a large gland which lies parallel to and beneath the stomach. Pancreas secretes pancreatic juice which contains digestive enzymes like pancreatic amylase, trypsin and lipase. The enzyme amylase breaks down the starch, the enzyme trypsin digests the proteins and the enzyme lipase breaks down the emulsified fats. The walls of small intestine contain glands which secrete intestinal juice. The intestinal juice contains a number of enzymes which complete the digestion of complex carbohydrates into glucose, proteins into amino acids and fats into fatty acids and glycerol. Glucose, amino acids, fatty acids and glycerol are small, water-soluble molecules. In this way, the process of digestion converts the large and insoluble food molecules into small, water-soluble molecules. The chemical digestion of food is brought about by biological catalysts called enzymes. Absorption. After digestion, the molecules of food become so small that they can pass through the walls of the small intestine, which contain blood capillaries, and go into our blood. This is called absorption. The small intestine is the main region for the absorption of digested food. In fact, the small intestine is especially adapted for absorbing the digested food. The inner surface of small intestine has millions of tiny, finger-like projections called villi. The presence of villi gives the inner walls of the small intestine a very large surface area. And the large surface area of small intestine helps in the rapid absorption of digested food. The digested food which is absorbed through the walls of the small intestine goes into our blood. Assimilation. The blood carries digested and dissolved food to all the parts of the body where it becomes assimilated as part of the cells. This assimilated food is used by the body cells for obtaining energy as well as for growth and repair of the body. The energy is released by the oxidation of assimilated food in the cells during respiration. The digested food which is not used by our body immediately is stored in the liver in the form of a carbohydrate called glycogen. This stored glycogen can be used as a source of energy by the body as and when required. Egestion. The act or process of discharging undigested or waste material from a cell or organism. A part of the food which we eat cannot be digested by our body. This undigested food cannot be absorbed in the small intestine. So, the undigested food passes from the small intestine into a wider tube called large intestine. Large intestine. The walls of large intestine absorb most of the water from the undigested food, with the help of villi. Due to this, the undigested part of food becomes almost solid. The last part of the large intestine called rectum stores this undigested food for some time. Then this undigested food is passed out, or egested, from our body through anus as feces or stool. What happens to the digested food? The small intestine absorbs most of the nutrients in your food, and your circulatory system passes them on to other parts of your body to store or use. Special cells help absorbed nutrients cross the intestinal lining into your bloodstream. Your blood carries simple sugars, amino acids, glycerol, and some vitamins and salts to the liver. Your liver stores, processes, and delivers nutrients to the rest of your body when needed. The lymph system, a network of vessels that carry white blood cells and a fluid called lymph throughout your body to fight infection, absorbs fatty acids and vitamins. Your body uses sugars, amino acids, fatty acids, and glycerol to build substances you need for energy, growth, and cell repair.